Hello friends, welcome back again. Thank you for your continuous support and interactive comments for my video contents. In this video, we will see about the graphic window analysis options. Contents which are covered are how to make use of the cursor options and then the signal selections, and following to that the zoom options and scroll options, and then finally on the signal logging from the graphic windows. So before we go into the video, please hit the subscribe button and bell icon for more updates on my channel. Let's get started. So first of all, go to the start button and type in CANoe. And you will, if you have already installed your Vector CANoe, then you will find the application displayed over here. Select it, and you will find the CANoe configuration opened. And then you have to create a blank configuration firstly. And then once if the blank configuration is created, then go to the analysis tab and then go to the measurement setup button. And once if you have clicked on to the measurement setup button, you will find the measurement setup panel displaying over here, and in the right side you have to insert the graphic window. So you can right click at the right side anywhere around here, and then you can insert the graphic window. So once if you have inserted, you will find a block like this, like graphics, and you can rename as you wish. And once if you're ready with the block, then you can click onto this button, and you'll be navigated to the graphic window panel. And here you will find a lot of options in order to use it for the analysis purpose. We'll see one by one about what is its purpose of these options. So first of all, once if you have created the graphic panel, you will find a blank graphic panel window here, and then you can right click anywhere around here, and then you can add the signals or variables or diagnostic parameters. And once if you have added those signals, you will find all those signals grouped like this. And coming to the options, the first option we will see is about the toggle signal legend. So this particular panel, it's the legend part, where you will find the signal details, the signal root path when you hover on each signals, and then its values, the current values. And then on the right side, it's signal plotting for the corresponding signals, whatever you've selected over here. It will be displayed in the right side by the signal plotting. So you will see the variations of the signals in the right side, and you will see the current value in the left side. So this legend, if you wish to have it, you can have it. If you do not want it to have this legend appearing over here, so if your main intention is to see about the signal variations and its differentiations, then in that case you can hide it. So in order to hide it, you can go over here to the top left, and you can click onto the toggle signal legend. When you click on it, the legend part will be hidden. And once if your analysis is done, and if you wish to take a note of your the current value, then you can again enable this legend so that it will appear over here. So that is the purpose of this first option, toggle signal legend. Okay, the second option that we could see at the top left is the pause option. So when you're running a measurement, you can at any point of time, if you wanted to pause it, and then if you wanted to do an analysis, in that case you can always pause it. When you pause it, you will see only the graphic window where you will see the signals getting frozen. But at the back end, the data is still flowing. It's not going to stop the measurement itself. And if you're unpausing it, you will see like there is an update. You will see the current status of the trace and signals. So that is the purpose of having the pause. So wherever you find anywhere around you want to do an immediate analysis, and then you can pause it, and then you can do the analysis. You will find all these cursors enables, and then you can do the analysis. So that is about the pause or resume update option. So the third and fourth option is the cursor options. So we have a single cursor, and we have a double cursor options. The purpose to have this cursor option is to point out at any point of your timestamp, and then you can see the value of the signal at that point of time. So that is the single cursor purpose. So let me run a measurement. You see my measurement is running now. I'm going to pause it or stop it. Let me stop it, and I have this cursor, single cursor, like activate or deactivate the measurement cursor, and this is a single cursor. You will find only one single line, and this line is something that you could drag at any point of time, and then you can leave it, and you will find the values of all the signals associated to it at that particular time instance. For instance, here at the time of 5, my signal 1, it is having a value of drive, and signal 2 is having a value of 0, and signal 3 with 248 and 15 and so on. And when you drag it to any point of the timestamp where you wanted to understand your signal transition and the associated values for the other signals, so in that case you could use a single cursor. And the fourth option is the difference cursor. So you will find as a two cursor point. If you could see like here, so this could be your first cursor point, and this is your second cursor point. And the main intention is to find the difference between the signals. So for instance, if I wanted to do an analysis between one signal to another signal, and if I wanted to find the time difference between this transition, so in that case I could normally use this difference cursor. And some of the tips and tricks is something like you have to select the signal firstly, and then you can start to move the cursor, so that when you have selected the signal, then you will find a square highlighted point which says that which particular point that I'm going to set as a start point. For instance, my start point is not in the signal 1. In the signal 3, if I wanted to have it as a start point, then I can go over here. Maybe I will, let me show it to you. Yeah, here it will be even more better. Okay. So now I've selected the signal 4 as a start point. I wanted to keep somewhere around here. You see here, when I move the cursor, I see a square box which says about which particular point. So this is something that it will give a better control for you to set your starting point. And then when you're about to set the second point, then you can select the next signal where you wanted to. For example, I want to do an analysis between the start point of signal 4 and a signal transition at signal 3. So in that case, I'm done with my first cursor. So with my second cursor, I have to select the signal 3 and then move my second cursor. Now you see, in my second cursor, I have a better control where I could go to each sample point, and then I can leave my cursor so that it will not move. So this is the best way that you could do it. And once if you have placed your two cursors like cursor 1 and cursor 2, then you will find the difference time. So T0, it represents the first cursor time instance, which is 1.234, and T2 is the second cursor timestamp, which is 4.096, and DT is nothing but the time difference between the first and second cursor. So it is like 2.86 seconds is my time duration between the cursor 1 and cursor 2. So that is a major purpose of having this cursor. So this is how we could do an analysis. If you have multiple transitions, so in that case you could make use of this cursor options in order to do a better analysis. So that is the purpose of cursors. So the fifth and sixth options are signal selection options. So firstly, the fifth option, it is nothing but marked signals bold. So this is like if you have many number of signals accumulated in your graphic window, and if you wanted to bold certain particular signal, in that case you could use this option, the fifth option, like mark signals bold, or a shortcut key is Control B. You could select any one of the signals. So in this case, I'm going to select the signal 4, and then I'm going to click onto this marked signals bold. You see my signal 4, it becomes bold, and whatever I marked over here, I was able to see it as a bold signals. So if I again uncheck it, it becomes light in color, and then again I could select any of, for instance, green, and then I select this, so it becomes bold, and my blue is not bold now. So that is the option of making any particular signals as bold to differentiate from other signals. And the sixth option is select display mode. So here you will find the drop down list. Click onto it. The first option shows show all signals with colors. Of course, it has already been done. So if you select it, it means that all the signals will be shown in different colors in order to differentiate between each signals. Second option is gray unmarked signals. So unmarked signals will be displayed as gray color. So for instance, I select that. Now my marked signal is signal 2. So it is in the color, and remaining all signals are displayed in gray color. So I can select any particular signal and it becomes, it will be, the selected signal alone will be shown as colorful, and the remaining signals will be showed in gray. So this is particularly if you wanted to do a effective analysis on in the middle of multiple signals. In that case, you could make use of this option. And then the third one is about show only marked signals. It is like the marked signals alone will be showed in your graphic panel. So I'm selecting the third option. In this case, I selected only one signal. So signal 3 alone I have selected. So that signal alone will be visible over here. If I select signal 1, then signal 1 alone will be displayed or showed in the graphic panel. But if you wanted to have multiple signals, like say for example here I have 5 signals, I wanted to dynamically see first 3 signals. I could press the first signal and then press my shift key, and then I can click on to any of the signal range. For instance, signal 3, so that signal 1 to 3 will be displayed in the graphic panel. So the purpose for having this option is, if you have like 100 signals or like 50 signals in this graphic panel, and if you wanted to do an analysis only for a few set of signals every now and then, in that case you can always use this option. It will be quite handy. You could select like a first bunch of signals which you wanted to do a specific analysis, and if you're done with that particular set of signals, then you can select another set of signals. So in that aspect, this option will be more useful. So that is the options about the signal selections. And the eighth option that you could see around here is select scaling mode. And you have in the drop down you will see three options. So one is adjust x-axis, and adjust y-axis, and adjust all directions. So the purpose of this option is to adjust your x or y scalings, and even if you wanted to do it for both the cases, you can also do it with the third option. Let me show you how to do it. So first I select your adjust x-axis, and then go over here at the bottom, and you see the x-axis is nothing but the timestamp. And here when you keep your mouse around here, so you have the option of it'll be like arrow where you can click and drag. When you click and drag, you will be able to move your time scalings. So this is the adjust x axis, and if you wanted to adjust the y axis, then click on it and then go to any particular signal which where you wanted to do the adjustment for the y axis. You can do it manually. So this is the option for y axis. And the third option is to adjust in all directions. So you have when you select that, so you can modify the x directions, I mean sorry, the y direction, as well as also the x also can be modified. So when you select both the x and y together, so that is the option of adjust or select scaling mode option. Okay, the ninth, 10th and 11th options are zoom options. The first one is zoom out. So if you click on the zoom out option, it will zoom out on the entire scaling of all the signals. It is not specific to any particular signals. It will zoom out in the x direction, you see. And then if you click onto the zoom in, it will again zoom in on the x direction. And here is where you also need to make use of the select scaling mode. So here we have selected as x. If you wanted to do the zoom in and zoom out based on the y axis, then you have to select the y axis, and so all your zoom options will be tuned to y axis. So when you zoom in or zoom out, here if you zoom out, it will be your x axis will not change. Just make a note of it. You can see it's 30.5 here, and when you zoom out, there is no change in your x axis, but your y axis is keep changing based on your zoom in and zoom out options. So that's how you could make use of this scaling mode. The third option that you could select is adjust all directions. Select that mode so that in your zoom out options you have both the cases like X and Y together. It will be zoomed in so that you will be seeing the changes on the Y axis as well as the X axis at the same time when you zoom in or zoom out. You see, you will have a changes in both the X and Y directions when you zoom out and when you zoom in. So that's how you could use the option for the zoom out and zoom in. And there is another option like drag zoom mode. This is something like you could again use, you can drag any particular section of your signal and then you can zoom in. So when you do a normal zoom in or zoom out, you do not have any control of which particular part that you wanted to zoom in and see it. But if you wanted to have a specific check on any set of signals, then you could make use of the third option like activate or deactivate drag zoom mode. So before selecting or after selecting this part, make sure that you select the proper scaling mode. If in case if you wanted to, let me show you one by one. So first, when you do when you select the adjust x-axis, and then if the drag zoom mode is selected, then you will find two cursors in the x directions in order to zoom in. Click and drag. So I find two cursor element. Now I'm going to see the signal transitions in detail in a zoomed manner between these two cursors in the x direction. You see, so that's how you could make use when you wanted to zoom in a particular section of your signals. You can make use of the drag zoom, and when you select the scaling as X, then you will find it as a two cursor option in the horizontal manner. And the next option would be like select the scaling as Y axis and then go to the drag zoom mode. And now if you click on it, you find a vertical scalings. Earlier we found as a horizontal scaling, now we will find it as a vertical scaling. This is to zoom into your vertical scaling of any particular signal sections. You see, I dragged in and then I zoomed in um, on the y axis. The third option would be adjust all directions. When you select this option and when you're clicking and dragging your signal sections, it would look like you will find a box like option, and you can zoom in and zoom out those sections alone like x and y together. It can be zoomed in. So that is the three different ways by which you could use the scaling mode in order to zoom in with the drag mode option. So that is about the zoom options. Okay, the next option that we are going to see is the move signal towards left and right. So this option, if you click towards the left or right, uh, so with which you, without the change in the timestamp, you will be able to move the signals towards left or right. So that is the purpose of having this option. Let me click onto it. You see, when I try to click this signal towards the left, you don't see a change in the timestamp, but you see the signals are moving towards the left. The same when you try to click onto the move signals towards the right, your signals are moving but your timestamp there is no change. So that is this option of move signals towards right and left. And the next option that we're going to see is about the scroll left and right. So this option is something like the left arrow when you click or the right arrow that you click. It means that we're going to move step by step towards the right side. Something equivalent to what we have seen it in the past, like by selecting the scaling mode and then we clicked and dragged towards the right and left side, right? The same way is what we could do it here, but without you operate on any of these graphics by moving your mouse pointer and so on. So without doing all those things, with the help of this right scroll towards the right and left will be quite easy for you to do it without you dragging and moving on the time or the y-axis. That is the purpose of having this scroll left and right. But when you check on this drop down, you will also find an option like down and up. which is something similar to what we have done it on the right side and left side the same way. You see now when I selected the down, the scroll becomes up and down. When I click again here, you see the time, the y amplitude, it's getting changed. I'm moving down. The same way, if I wanted to move up, then I could see, like you see there is no change in the timestamp, but you see there is a change in the signal values on the y-axis. So that is the purpose of scroll up and down. And you have the scroll to oldest measurement values. This is applicable towards your left and right, because left side it indicates your older value, and right side of your time scale it is the newest value. When you click onto the left side, it always goes to the first measurement of your signals, and when you click onto the scroll to the newest measurement value, it goes to the entire right. So here our entire newest measurement value ends up over here, and so it is just stopping over here. But otherwise, with this you could really scroll to the next newest measurement stage. So that is the purpose of having this scroll options. The next option that we're going to see is about the select legend position. So earlier we have seen at the first option, we have seen like toggle the signal legend, so where we could toggle between showing the legend. Here is something like you could adjust your position of your legend. So if you click onto the drop down, you will see like you can customize the view. If you wanted to have this legend at the left, you could select this option legend left, and if you wanted to have it at the bottom, you can select that, so that you will have your entire screen used for the graphic, and at the bottom you will see the legend information. Or if you do not really wanted to have it, so you can hide it, something similar to that of this one, like toggle. So that is about the legend options. And then we have the undo and redo options, uh, which is the normal operation that we used to see it in any other editor. If you have done any modification, if you wanted to do an undo, then you could select the undo or redo. And the final is about the select y-axis. So here, show y-axis of selected signal. So if you select this, it shows the y-axis of the selected signal. So here the selected signal is signal 2, and you see the y-axis, it represents all the signals are being over relayed, and then the y-axis shown is only of the selected signal. So all the other signals are overlapped. You see now, if I select the signal 1, then the signal 1 y-axis will be shown at the left side, and but you will see like all the signals are overlapped, and it is shown as a one single view. So that is the purpose of the first option, like show y-axis of selected signals. And then the next one is show all y-axis. So if you select that, you will see like all the y-axis will be shown, and all the signals overlapped together, and it will be displayed together here. So this kind of view will also be helpful in certain cases if you wanted to see the transitions not in a different view, but in one single view, to pinpoint the exact debugging point. In that situation, you could use this kind of a view. The next option would be like show signals in separate diagrams. So if you select this, all the signals will be shown as a separate diagram. So that is about the options of the select y-axis view. And the final option that we're going to see it on the graphic panel is select other options. So under which in the drop down you will see multiple options. So the first one is like toggle grid. So this is something like I enabled already a grid over here in my graphic panel, and if I do not want it to have a grid, then I could select the toggle grid to disable or enable it. So that is for the first option. And second one is toggle samples. Now I didn't enable the samples here. For instance, if I try to zoom in, yeah, if you see over here, yeah, if you see over here, I didn't have any samples in my signals. If I wanted to see a sample for every signal, so in that case I can enable this one. So like toggle samples, if I click on it, you see there is a small square boxes in every signal update. So this is to represent that how well it is the signals are getting updated in a periodic instance. So the periodicity between one instance, one sample to another sample, is something that you could easily find it out by here. For instance, see here, this is the first sample, and the next sample is this one. So, so this one, if you wanted to display it or if you wanted to disable it, you could make use of this toggle samples. And the next option is toggle y-axis. So if I select this one, so it will not show the y-axis at all. If you wanted to show it, you could select the option as toggle y-axis again. And then you have the fourth option is signal logging configuration. In the signal logging configuration, so this is a key part in the graphics. Normally, we used to enable the log in a specific logging block, but if you forgot to do it, there's no worry at all. Even in the graphics during the measurement also, you could enable the logging. How you could do it is something like with this option. So first of all, you could go over here, and then you could select the signal logging configuration, and then you can configure a path. So you could give a path where you wanted to store it. So after you have stored this, then you could go over here, and then you could make use of the next option like start logging. So if the measurement is already on, and if you wanted to log, now I didn't enable my logging at all, so none of the data is recorded. Okay, now if you see here, I'm deleting. Okay, there is no data in my path over here, but now the measurement is already running, and in my measurement setup I do not have any logging block enabled. But I feel like, okay, at this point of time I wanted to enable the logging, so I could also start my logging here without even specifying as a logging block. I could go over to this option, and then I can click start logging. So at this moment of time my logging has been started. Now I feel like, okay, this particular section at which I wanted to stop my logging, because my analysis part is done, so now I can stop my logging, and so my logging has been stopped. So now if I go to my location where I stored this log, is over here, I see a sample MDF file got recorded. So this is how you could you could store your log during the measurement running phase, even without enabling your logging block. So that is the option that you could make use of it. And the next option would be like go to X. So go to X is a beautiful option again. Like if we cannot scroll for a multiple times, if we have a very bigger log of a very bigger timestamp, all what we can do is we could make use of this option like go to X. And if you are very clear about which particular timestamp, that if you wanted to do a debugging or analysis, you could directly mention this point like point of time. Here is nothing but the X timestamp. I wanted to go to 5 seconds, fifth second I wanted to go. So if you click apply, it goes to the fifth second. If you see, like, it comes to the fifth second. Or if you wanted to go to the 40th second, I can enter it and then I can apply. So I go to the 40th second here. So in this way, you could just navigate to the concerned X or the timestamp using this option like point of time. There is also another option like time span. If you really know about which particular timestamp that you wanted to or time span at which you wanted to do the analysis, like for instance I wanted to do an analysis between 10 to 15 seconds. So 10 is my beginning, and my ending section would be 15 seconds. And if you apply it, so you will see like from 10 to 15 you will be able to see the time span over here. So so here I'm sorry, here the begin is 10 seconds and length is 15 seconds. So from 10 plus 15 seconds is what it's like, 25 seconds is what you will see over here. But for instance, if you wanted to have it as 20 seconds, from there I want to have a look on for 5 seconds of duration, then you could specify like this. So my length of this entire graphic panel or timestamp would be 5 seconds, and my beginning of my timestamp would be 20th second. So in this way also you could do some sort of debugging by going into that particular time span. So that's another option that we could see it. And with that, we have seen all the options which is present in this graphic panel. With that, we had come to the conclusion of this video. Hope you got an insight about how to use the different options present in the graphic panel to do the signal analysis. Hope you like my video. Please click onto the like button and subscribe to my channel for further update. Until then, thank you.